Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. For the second time in quick succession, we have with us the HR godfather himself, Mr. Joel Omeke. And tonight, we'll be engaging with us on the topic, leveraging technology and analytics to expand and augment HR, work, and people capabilities. The topic is a mouthful, but I assure you, you are at the right place at the right time. Just for the benefit of some of us who may not be familiar with the Godfather, I will read his profile. And for those of us who know him already, his profile itself is inspirational and a learning experience. Joel Omeke is the lead consultant and founder of P4PE Limited, Institute for Professional Excellence. He has outstanding built competence in helping individuals and companies achieve their best potentials. He is a seasoned business strategist and people development HR practitioner with over 22 years deep experience covering generalist, specialist, and lead roles in banking, insurance, engineering, telecoms, services, and consulting sectors. He led the Learning and Development Performance Group of Workforce Management Center. He was the group head of HR and corporate services at Tech Engineering, where he headed the organization and employee development at He also headed the organization and employee development at Sterling Bank. He was also the head of performance management in Unity Bank with responsibility for career development and manpower planning. Joel holds a dual Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Statistics from the Waterfront University of Lagos, has an MBA from Business School, Netherlands, is a project management professional, PMP, change management specialist, and a professional member of various national and international institutes and associations, including SHRM, HRCI, PMI, NIM, ISL, LDNI, HR Network Africa. He's currently pursuing his doctorate degree in business administration, DBA. He's passionate about professional excellence in business growth, organizational development, and HR transformation. He has developed several best-in-class solutions, systems, and models in HR, finance, business transformation, learning, and development. He currently serves on the board of Oxesis Management School, an entrepreneurial management and leadership development institute, Postwork Analytics, a business intelligence and analytics firm, CAA Microfinance Bank, and O Mobile Multimedia, a telecom multimedia company. Joel runs several mentoring and coaching programs for professionals and business leaders. He has assisted business leaders in countries like Nigeria, Namibia, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and South Africa, to mention a few, to transform their careers and organizations. He's also a regular volunteer on capacity building initiatives for schools for Junior Achievers International and teachers development initiatives. He develops profit models, business models, plan and growth for integrated and complex businesses requiring deal structuring and various combinations, mergers and acquisitions, MBOs, and so on and so forth. His specific experiences cut across three major streams: consulting, facilitation, project management. He also has competencies in SMEs, and he has handled large-scale project and change management, talent management, leadership alignment and development, stakeholder management and organizational design, HR transformation program, and project management. He has also handled projects around HR strategy and service delivery, business startup, growth, and profit modeling. For example, in the area of project management too, he has handled projects around TerraCulture 2022, NG 2022, and just to mention a few. He has also, for example, developed the academic curriculum for First Bank 2011, process transformation NUSA group, just to mention one or two in that area. Let me also mention one or two more. He did a career management framework for CBN between 2020 to 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege, pleasure, and delight to hand over control to the Godfather himself, Joel Omeke. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Members of the clan within the HR community, thank you very much for joining this particular session. Briefly, I am going to turn off my video until I'm able to get the power up and running at this point in time. Thank you very much, Yemi, once again for that exhilarating introduction. And I do agree with you. The topic of conversation this evening is quite a mouthful. We are examining how we can leverage technology, leverage analytics in order to expand and also augment what we do in HR, in the work environment and the capabilities of our employees. I agree with you. This particular topic does not deserve to be discussed in 1 hour. We can bring this topic into an academy and run this consistently for the next 2 weeks, and we'll not be able to exhaust everything inside it. But again, we must do justice best we can as a knowledge sharing session. My name again is Joel Omike, and it's an honor and privilege to be here again with us in order to examine a few areas that can help us to continue to improve our competence and how we deliver results within the HR space as the case is. So our discussion today is going to center around 4 major items. 1, what is the role of technology in HR? How is technology assisting the work we're doing within HR? And how can we take advantage of these particular technological advances for the progress of HR? 2, analytics in HR. How is analytics helping HR to advance, deliver results, and achieve beyond what is normal in various things that we're doing? How is analytics helping to put HR on the executive desk, at the boardroom, at the board level, as the case is? 3, how do we enhance the capabilities of our team members and the work that they do based on some of the technological and analytical advances that we have seen? We shall also examine 2 case studies in this particular session from some experiences we have engaged with and see whether that can help drive home the point of our discussion. So if I may ask, just quickly in the chat box, I think the easiest technology that most of us use in HR is usually our human resource information system. So I'm going to do a quick roll call and request you to go straight to the chat box and share with us on the chat box what technology or what kind of technological solutions are you using in HR. Please, at the chat box, please share with us what do you use in HR for your various transactions, various administrations in your HR department. Please share. You can share the name of the organization or the name of the app at that point in time, or you can share what the app does for you as the case is. So let's see, please share with me in the chat box. Yes. What are some of the technologies that we use in HR currently? Perfect, perfect. So we'll have the first one here. So Yemi used an SAP from SuccessFactors. Thank you. Yes. Yes. What are some of the solutions that we find useful within our HR space for some of the things that we do? Can I get 2 more solutions from those who use some technological solutions within their space? Thank you, Chinwendo. So we have seamless HR. Yes, thank you. This is iPhone. Seamless HR. Yes, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. One more from the various technologies that we use in HR. So we have someone that mentioned Microsoft Excel. Interesting, fantastic. Good. Interesting, these technological tools have their place in the various HR departments and the various institutions that we have. Now, by way of objectives, at the end of this session, you will understand how technology and analytics has changed HR. We'll explore the benefits of automation and data-driven decisions in what we do. We shall also discuss real-world applications and trends in HR technology and analytics in the world of work, as the case is at that point. Why are we having this conversation? One, we want to see how HR has transformed. What are the technologies and analytics that has enhanced the efficiency and effectiveness in HR? We want to see how HR professionals like you and me are being empowered to provide guidance to the organizations that we work with by leveraging this particular technology. Our sincere goal during this session is to share information. We shall share knowledge, we shall share experiences, we will share a few technological advances without specifically recommending anyone in this particular forum, because each technology is bespoke and works depending on the organization in question. We shall also see some practical examples and some use cases of these particular technologies and the advancement they have brought. And then finally, I am going to recommend some trends you should look out for in the future and how these things will continue to shape our HR space. But the question is, why technology? Why analytics? Why are these important to us today? You will notice that for a while, before the Haley taxi system, the app-driven taxi system came, we're used to our yellow taxis in Lagos. And also the rest of Nigeria's cases. We're used to those particular taxis, so to speak. And they are highly inefficient, ineffective. We quarrel with them regularly and things like that. Sometimes they get lost, they don't find the location, and there's always quarrel and disagreement on payment and stuff like that. And then behold, technology showed up. The technology that we saw was Uber. And Uber and subsequent versions of it that showed up in the market space simplified and changed the playing field in terms of our taxi system. The same thing too is happening within the HR space. Whether it is recruitment, it is performance management, it is talent management, technology is making these particular things happen. Some of the trends we see in this area is digital transformation, where we see a rapid adoption of platforms and digital tools in the HR space. There's also data-driven decisions, where most times when HR comes to executive management, HR doesn't use the language again. Our staff are not happy. I think if we deploy staff boss, employees will be happier. So how do you measure happiness? How do you demonstrate the return of investment of staff boss? In fact, how do you measure the return on investment of Thank God It's Friday? When HR says, let's introduce Thank God It's Friday in the organization, and MD says, please tell me, HR, what's the return on investment on Thank God It's Friday? How do we defend that initiative before the executives? Then the pandemic also has brought to the fore the need for us to go hybrid and remote as the cases. And technologies instantly appeared to support those kind of work environment and various employees. And I know a couple of you in your organizations, you have some team members who are working remotely, but are we getting the best benefit from these particular institutions and the individuals? And then finally, the latest kid in the block, AI, in the technological space and machine learning. These platforms are able to integrate with HR and make HR to be able to deliver significant results in these particular areas that we're going to be looking at this point in time. Now, while we are doing this in order to ensure that this works very well, there are various spaces in which technology is beginning to affect some of the things we do and to generate the results that we expect at this point in time. And these areas that technology has advanced to deliver these particular things is giving us fantastic returns. For example, in recruitment and onboarding, AI is beginning to help us to achieve as much advancement in this particular area as much as possible. And we are getting the kind of success we expect in this area. In employee engagement and employee retention also. With analytics, we can predict in a typical organization when an employee is going to resign. We know, we can tell. We can tell as accurate as 2 months, 3 months when an employee is going to resign. And I think 2 months notice from AI is enough time for us to plan a replacement or recover that employee before the employee leaves away from us. 3 is performance management. Performance management for a long time has been an annual event, an annual ritual that a lot of employees and line managers dislike and causes emotional trauma for people whenever it is done. But technology today has made it seamless, has made it continuous, has made it instant, as the case may be. Of course, not forgetting L&D and also workforce planning within the organization. So there are various places where you can actually find technology very useful within the organization. Now that we're clear on some of this particular impact and how they drive progress for us, let's now look at, let's take our conversations one by one. First, what is the role of tech in HR? Why is technology important in HR? And what are the values that we are going to see in this area? Under this particular topic, we shall look at automation and efficiency of technology in HR. We'll look at examples of how HR tasks are being automated by technology, like our recruitment task, our onboarding task, how automation is helping us in this particular area. We shall also look at how the Human Resource Information System, HRIS, right, is being deployed in various organizations. We'll look at some of the benefits and the data management and decision making it is supporting for us at that time. Then finally, we shall look at emerging technologies. What are some of the technologies that are being used within HR to make these things work very well? So let's take the first one, automation and efficiency. Automation and efficiency. There are a lot of repetitive work that we do in HR. Some of this repetitive work within HR can be very cumbersome and takes a lot of time. An example of such repetitive work includes leave processing. It includes payroll processing that HR does regularly and some measure of documentation. Now, if we are able to automate and streamline this particular repetitive task, it will give us back time that we can use to focus on strategic initiatives. Please, on the chat box, share with me which part of HR job that you do that you dislike the most, you wish technology, automation, or whatever can take it away from you. Share on the chat box, what is it that you do in HR that you feel that something else should take it away, that is so repetitive or cumbersome that you wish something else can take it away from you. In the chat box, share please. So Shala says interviews. All right, leave processing. Okay, nice, interesting. Okay, so very nice, very nice. Employee documentation. Performance management. Exit benefits when people are leaving the organization. That's good. Oh, there's quite a lot we really want to transfer to technology as in cases. Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Filing. Yes. Filing, documentation, onboarding. Especially if your organization hire a lot of staff, especially salespeople, customer service people, call center people. Those people come and go regularly. As they are coming, they are going, as the case is. So you're always hiring. Thanks. The next thing that automation and efficiency helps us to achieve is consistency and accuracy. HR is known for errors in data. If you use Excel to generate HR data, tendency is that each time you open that Excel sheet is stale, is old. It has data that is no longer relevant. An example, if you generate an Excel sheet of your staff data in June 1st of June, today there is June 22nd or thereabout, that particular data is most probably stale. Some people have been transferred, so they are no longer in the department that you have them in that place. Some people have resigned. You have new staff you've added at that point. In some cases, some people are on suspension. Some people are on leave. So you see, there is some measure of inconsistency and errors we might find in our data if we use legacy systems that are no longer optimized at that point. So automation helps us to be more accurate and consistent with this particular document. It also helps us to apply our policies very, very well. Another thing automation helps with is cost savings. You can save cost. Significant amount of time is reduced because you're using technology. Imagine somebody mentioned onboarding, right? Blessing also mentioned onboarding. Imagine that you hire 5 staff. 5 staff join you every month. If 5 staff join you every month and your onboarding process is 1 week, it takes 1 week to board your team members. It means that if they all came at different times, maybe 1 person each week, 1 person each week, that means throughout that week, you're busy carrying somebody around, discussing policy with the person, engaging the person with your various organization cultures, our practices, and things like that, just for 1 person or just for 2 persons. So that is time consuming. However, if you automate it, technology can run it for you. Maybe an LMS or a training system can help you to run through that process and bring your team members up to speed to achieve that particular result. Now, what are some of the tasks in HR that can be automated? Yes, thank you very much for wishing that these things should be automated. And clearly, I guarantee you that yes, there's automation for some of the things you've mentioned so far, like recruitment, right? There's AI-driven applicant tracking system for screening resumes. You send it CVs, it will screen those particular CVs and respond at that point in time to help you appreciate whatever it is that you're working, right? And I have a few apps, AI-driven apps, that all you need to do is give in the contact, the email of the candidate, so to speak. That AI will send an email inviting candidates for interview. The candidates will click on the link, schedule their interview. When the time for the interview comes, they will log in, and AI, like Zoom, will ask them questions, and they will answer those questions. The AI will determine whether they are fit for the job. And the beauty of it, that AI can be running that interview for 1,000 candidates simultaneously at the same time. So that's a beautiful platform to show you that you can just sit back, raise your leg on top of the table, cross your leg, and have a bite of a biscuit or a snack while you sip your coffee, and AI is running the interviews for you at that point in time. Isn't that amazing? Then onboarding, there are automated platforms that allow you to upload documents, training models, policies, and stuff like that. And your new staff that is joining will read those documents, will sign off that he has gone through it and understand those particular documents and respond immediately to that document at that point in time. So that exists already. In fact, your standard LMS, if properly managed, right, is going to be able to do that. Our LMS platform, the Provacity.co, is able to handle that also. So if you set up a proper LMS, you can use it for your onboarding process. Then there are automated payroll system. Most of us are used to it because most human resource information system, payroll is foundational. And so we are used to that in terms of managing time, processing payroll, and ensuring compliance. And there are some local versions of this payroll management system that even integrates not only to banks to pay staff salary, but also integrates to the various regulatory compliance bodies like pension and co to make the various remittances, and you're good to go at that time. Then there is also our leave management system. Most second level of most human resource information system is what we call self-service. The self-service allows employees to apply for various leaves, to apply for various things, and their manager approves. HR doesn't get involved. And when the manager has approved, the senior manager has concurred, as the case may be, it then appears in HR's payroll that this person is on leave or something like that. So if you spool a report, you see the number of your staff who are on leave, you don't have to stress your life again. That place is simply handled very well because you will have put the rules, the leave entitlement, how many days the person can take, when he's resuming, and all those things. And the technology monitors and ensures that it's done very well. Of course, not to forget your performance appraisals that you can run on a periodic basis. But because of technology, a lot of organizations now are able to run performance appraisal, instead of annually, they run it on a quarterly basis. Every 3 months, they can run appraisal and gather data instantly, and they're able to use that data at that point in time. So this is some of the beauty of what we're seeing. Now, what's the benefit of the human resource information system and data management system that we're seeing? It's efficient. You can't take it away from it. Less paperwork, right? No more manual data typing instead of typing information inside, so to speak. In those days, when an employee has an employee's family gives birth, they send a message to HR. Sometimes they fill a form and send a medical document that, God has just blessed my family with so and so. HR will begin to type, populate it in various data, go to the employee's file it in that place, then send a message across to all staff that this so and so of our staff has had a baby. Let's congratulate the baby, as the case is. Gone are those days. Technology seamlessly handles this. On self-service, the employee uploads all he needs to upload. HR sees it on his own dashboard, validates that it is accurate and complete, clicks on OK, and instantly every staff in the organization gets an announcement that so and so now has a new baby. Fantastic efficiency. Then data accuracy. I remember some time ago when my head of HR was in a board meeting, and then they requested for a particular data. I think they requested for the data of everybody in the organization that is more than 5 years on his current grade. And my head of HR did not go to that meeting with that data. So they asked her to get the data. So she came back to HR and said, look, let's quickly get me data. How many staff in this organization and who are they that are more than 5 years on their current grade? And she went back to the meeting. Well, from when she came down around that morning till evening, we were busy running through data, trying to find out which staff, how many people, when did they join, who, when was he last promoted, and all those information. Till the day ended, when I sent the report. Then at about 4 p.m., 5 p.m., when she got the report and shared it with ESCO, one member of the board said, I know this person, he was promoted so and so. He cannot be 5 years in the... So you see, even your board members can puncture the data that you bring to meetings if they are not accurate. But technology sorts out that particular problem. And since you have data, you can run analysis. You can report very well. Instead of just reporting what has happened in the past, number of staff hired and all those things, you can report the possibilities, predict into the future in those particular reporting. And then since you have technology, it is easy for you to comply with NSITF, with PENCON, right? With ITF. You can comply with various regulatory requirements within our environment, and hence we get less exceptions when auditors come to audit what we do within the HR space. So that's the beauty of our HRI platforms in various categories, as the case is. Now, what are some technologies that we're beginning to see in HR? Some technologies that are helping us to drive HR. One is AI and machine learning. They are changing the playing field. And if you're in HR, you've not already started welcoming AI, I encourage you to go and learn AI. It doesn't take much. You can self-teach yourself if you have the time. Follow some of the webinars you see here and there, read articles, see use cases, you can learn it. And I'm sure the HR mentorship group has either organized in the past or can still organize additional AI for HR trainings for us that can build us in this particular area. At the minimum, learn AI prompting, what they refer to as prompt engineering, right? You can use it to prompt AI to be able to do a lot of things. So what are some of the things AI is doing for us? Your recruitment, your tracking system, it can help you to track various things and also screen CVs and also screen candidates. Then employee engagement. There's what is called sentiment analysis. You can begin to ask employees in various places, how do you feel? Maybe on a daily basis, you ask employees, how do you feel today? When they check into their system, you say, how do you feel? The person says, maybe you give them a scale of 1 to 5. Excellent, good, fair, not good, poor. So based on those particular feelings that you're getting, you can tell, today we're at 60% engagement. Today, the morale of employees at this particular level. And you can connect it with certain things. For example, when there is fuel crisis and employees have a hard time coming to work, the survey online will instantly tell you how employees are feeling. You know whether to relax some rules. There are some offices that if you're not in the office at 8 o'clock, you've entered trouble. But once you have those kind of issues happening in the external environment and you run the sentiment analysis, instantly it tells you that, hey, you need to have a human heart at this point in time and relax the rule about your work timing as the case may be. There's also predictive analysis. You can predict how many staff will resign in the next month, in the next quarter, in the next 1 year. And hence, you can plan replacement or recovery from those particular individuals so that they don't leave at that point. You can also identify retention strategies based on the data of those who are leaving and the interviews you've had. AI can tell you what the issues are and how to plan the retention of those particular individuals. Then, of course, there are other personalizations you can do with HR to ensure you're able to achieve as much as possible. Now, while AI and machine learning is interesting, they have some challenges. One is complexity of implementation. Sometimes you're not sure how to implement AI. There is no executive buy-in, or executives are afraid, they don't understand what AI is. And also the fact that integrating AI into our various platforms requires the expertise of AI guys and those who are into machine learning and stuff like that. So that level of expertise might not be locally available within your organization. And you may not have the funding to pay an external consultant to come and work with you to get it done. So that's one challenge we have with AI and machine learning. Another challenge we have with AI and machine learning are ethical considerations, concerns that are related to data privacy. Now that AI is having access to people's data and things like that, who knows whether a hacker can hack this AI and then our information will spread across in various areas. How about transparency issues? How about fairness, as the case is? How about a human heart that HR has? Now that it is technology or AI that is having this conversation, does AI have a heart? Does AI understand what is called yeah when employees are not feeling good, as the case may be at that point in time? So these are concerns we need to look out for. The second part of our conversation is analytics, and I so love analytics. Data analytics and data science is an area I lick soup with, as the case is. So what exactly is analytics? What are the different types of analytics that HR can use to do what they are doing currently? And then what are some basic KPIs and matrices that we track in HR? What are strategic KPIs and metrics that HR must track to be able to deliver results in those particular areas? For one thing, there are various scopes when it comes to analytics. HR analytics is the process of you collecting data, analyzing the data, and being able to interpret it so that we can use it significantly within organizations. It helps us in our workforce planning, in talent management, and also improving employee experience in various areas. The idea behind HR analytics is to ensure that we have access to insight for decision making. And most times it covers almost all departments and all units within HR. The interesting thing about HR is that there are various types of benefits we get from analytics. Analytics provides you future predictions. You are able to tell what's going to happen in the future and how that future is going to move at that point in time, and then how you'll be able to achieve great results. So that will help us to achieve as much as possible. It also helps us with data decisions making, and it also helps us with cost efficiency because it tells us where we should spend money and where we should not spend money at that point in time. If you want to implement data analytics, there are 3 steps. 3 steps to implementing data analytics. Step 1 is to collect data. Some of us are not used to keeping good HR data. So before you start discussing analytics, start collecting data. Keep the data across various units in HR and the various things you do at that point in time. 2, identify the analytic tool you're going to use. Do you want to use Excel? Do you want to use Power BI? Or do you want to use other platforms, special platforms that are built for analytics? Depending on the size of the organization, the size of the data, whether you have big data or not at that point in time. Then 3, you need to build the skill for analytics. And I'm not just talking about attending analytics programs. All these analytics programs we see everywhere. 2 hours analytics webinar session, 1 hour analytics webinar, 1 day analytics session, and then we'll come out and say we are data analysts. We are just playing, it's child's play. For you to be a core analytics person, it takes hundreds of hours of practice. It's like saying as a HR professional that you became HR from attending one webinar of 2 days or 1 day or something like that, and you're a HR professional as a case. So analytics is gradually becoming a profession on its own, and we need to give it the right attention at that point in time. Now, what are some analytics or types of analytics that we see? One, there's what is called descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics provides insights into what is happening in the environment, such as turnover rates, demographics. So it describes, from the title, it describes what is happening in HR and within the organization. So that's descriptive analytics. Then there is predictive analytics. And predictive analytics uses data of history to statistically look into the future and forecast what will happen next and what is going to happen at that point in time. For example, how do you identify your high-performing individuals and future talents in the organization? So your predictive analytics helps you to do that at that point in time. Then there's also what is referred to as diagnostic analytics. Diagnostic analytics is used when there is a problem to diagnose why we are having that problem at that point in time. It helps you to identify the cause. It helps you with problem solving at that point in time in order to address the issues and the concerns that you have. And then finally, some of the things that diagnostic analytics can help you to do is turnover analysis. If you notice that turnover is rising, last 3 years, turnover in your organization is 15%. Last year, it is 18%. This year, we only have fee already. It is already 20%. You can use a diagnostic analytics to find out why is turnover rising? Why is it increasing as the case is? Our salespeople are no longer selling. Why is sales dropping at that point in time? So diagnostic analytics helps you to answer the question why. Why are things happening the way they are happening at that point in time? And then you'll be able to respond and deal with it as much as possible. So, question. Amongst us, which of us are currently using one form of analytics or not within our organization? Who of us are currently using analytics consciously for the various things we do? Whether it is descriptive, it is predictive, it is diagnostic, right? Which of you is currently using some measure of analytics? Yes, please share in the chat box. Who is currently using analytics? Any form of analytics to drive the process that we have within HR. Which of the analytics are you using? So while you share that, let me quickly look at some metrics. Some of the metrics in HR that we see. Under talent acquisition, some people say recruitment. It's okay, but under talent acquisition, there are 3 metrics that matter a lot to HR. One is time to hire. How long from when the manager says, I have a vacancy, find me a candidate? How long does it take us to find candidates? 2, cost pay hire. What is the cost for each person that joins the organization? Thank you very much. So NECA already uses descriptive, Shola uses diagnostic, and Jessica is currently using descriptive and predictive analytics. Wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing. Then there's also quality of hire. You know, time of hire, time to hire, cost of hire, they are called efficiency metrics. But quality of hire is called effective metrics. And it's asking, were you successful in your hiring process? It's not enough. The candidate will have joined us very cheap. You got the candidate, they gave you a budget of 500,000 naira per month to hire the candidate. but you found the candidate at 300,000. So cost per hire, fantastic, you've done very well. But the candidate comes, quality of hire. Instead of delivering at 80% to 100%, the candidate is delivering at 40 to 50%. You see, no matter what you've said in hiring, we have lost it in quality as the case is. Then, of course, there's performance management. Annually or periodically, every employee must set goals and we must measure it. What's our current performance ratings? How about the level of goal attainment? Those KPIs that people set, what's the level of attainment of those KPIs within the organization? And then our line managers and employees having regular feedback with their team members. Some employee engagement metrics, employer net promoter score. To what extent are employees willing to recommend our organization as a great place to work? Or at their host, they are saying, that our organization, yeah, well, it's not a place to work. Then employee satisfaction scores, and to what extent are we retaining talent within the organization? Then the training completion rate. To what extent are we completing training? People attend training and they're able to attend that training successfully. Or each time you organize training, some people, managers will say, my employee is too busy, cannot attend that training. This is peak season for us. And our gap analysis, what percentage of gaps are there in the organization? And then return on investment of training, the ROI of training. Are you able to calculate the ROI of training within your organization? So a classic example of ROI of training is that, so you have staff, you organize a course. There's a course that is called emotional intelligence. You finish organizing emotional intelligence course and your staff attend and come back. And then MD says, what is the ROI? What's the return of investment? We have spent 1 million on emotional intelligence. What is my return on that? Can you answer the MD? All right, now there are a few strategic KPIs also, or strategic things that you should pay attention to. Your HR cost per employee. What is the cost of HR for each staff in the organization? And HR cost includes the cost of salaries for everybody in HR, their benefits, the department, the cost of running HR. Are we spending too much in the HR department in the name of managing employees? It means that it is time for us to work on our HR efficiency and effectiveness. Then turnover issues and diversity issues, these are key considerations to help us to look out within those areas. So analytics, this is just a tip of the iceberg. I'm sure if you focus on analytics, there's a whole lot more to say within this particular space, especially if you're serious in using analytics within your organization. So how do we enhance work and our people's capabilities within the organization? What can we do to enhance the work that our people are doing? One of the things we'll look at here is your talent management and development program. Are you able to use analytics to identify skill gaps and training needs within the organization? Your employee experience. We're no longer talking about employee satisfaction. We talk about experience and engagement. Are you able to use technology to improve employees' level of satisfaction and retention within the organization? And are we able to provide instant feedback to various individuals on their performance within the organization? These are critical areas. Let's look at talent management and development. With the use of analytics, you can run what we call a skills gap analysis. You can assess the different skills that employees have relative to the job description and their ability to achieve that job at that point. And the idea behind this skill gap analysis, it helps you to know whether you have sufficient competent employees and how bad the gap is. So when you want to run a training, if training is your solution, you can use it to close that particular gap at that point in time. Then how about where is the source for data on your skills gap? If you're going to do a skills gap now, where will you find the data? Performance review. Some organizations, their appraisal includes skill evaluation or competency evaluation, as the case may be. All right. Your employee surveys, you can run a survey and ask employees voluntarily, where do you have gaps, right? And your competency assessments. These are some of the ways in which you can achieve this. The beauty of identifying such skills is that it helps you to do a very detailed training and development program so that you don't waste training budget. The budget you use to run training helps you to achieve the results you expect and to also implement accordingly at that point in time. It also improves employees' morale and productivity and enhance our ability to deliver goals within the organization at that point in time. So please run training needs analysis regularly and make sure you focus on data. Because sometimes when they challenge you, how do you know that this staff is not competent in Excel? How do you know that this staff is not competent in business development? You can use the data of your analysis at that point in time in order to defend it and then be able to implement whatever it is that you need to achieve at that point in time. The next thing is employee experience and engagement. How can technology help us with managing employee experience and engagement? One, your employee feedback platforms. Your various platforms where employees can take surveys, poll survey, check-in surveys, suggestion boxes. I just finished a session today in an organization somewhere in Lekki. And in that particular session, some employees are saying that they don't even allow us to talk. We don't know what is going on, and they are not listening to us. And somebody says each time we talk, that they take note of who spoke, and then later they begin to victimize that particular individual. That is why a suggestion box is there. Use an employee suggestion box so that we can gather the ideas and feedback without focusing on the individual that made those particular suggestions. Then, of course, there's personalization on our various portals. There's recognition and awards. A very old-time award we've always had is the Employee of the Month. Most organizations, especially service centers, have Employee of the Month award. Can you come up with other awards that you can use to make employees to look forward to it? They will make them to strive for it to get that particular award at that point in time. And then expand your communication tool. Most of us are still using email as a way to communicate among staff. We are too regimented, too formal when everything is email. Everything, go and put it in an email. Go and send me an email. Please don't call me, send me an email. All those particular things, it doesn't make work to flow nicely. Employees do not have a fantastic experience at that time. So see if you can use other platforms like social networks, like an instant messaging platform, like things like team-based platforms like Slack, Teams, and other platforms that you have at that point. It makes the experience fantastic for you to be able to engage with your employees. So why is this important? You can run wellness programs. You can run L&D platforms and flexible work solutions that will help employees to be able to deliver and feel good about themselves in this particular area. The last one in this area is your performance management system. Some will say performance appraisal. The important thing is real-time feedback. One of the greatest failures of performance management is that when we are doing appraisal, employees cannot remember all the things that has happened. Appraisals are usually done several months after things have happened. Nobody remembers exactly what has happened. And so all your good deeds in the past few months, your manager does not remember it. And so when they are making comments about how good you are, it does not resonate and reflect in those particular areas. But real-time feedback, once you do something instantly, you're recognized and rewarded. There's a particular law firm in Lekki that we did some program for some time ago. On each floor in that particular organization, they have a giant glass, like a glass showroom, a glass chest of drawers. And inside it, they have some beautiful gadgets. There's iPhone, there is Samsung phone, there is headsets, there is MP3 players. There are various gadgets in those particular areas. And the mantra in that organization, if an employee has performed and done something extremely well, do not wait for performance appraisal. Open that box. The manager should open that particular place and ask the employee to choose anything he wants from it. I remember the third floor in that particular organization, they had an iPad in that particular place. And employees are looking for who is going to perform very well in that particular iPad at that point in time. You can see engagement. People are striving to ensure they deliver results. Sometimes even trying to outsmart and outplay themselves. You can become your own creative way. Find what works for you. Just ensure you give instant feedback. And not only do you give that feedback, you are able instantly to respond to the outcome, reward, and praise your employees at that point in time. It will help you to achieve great results and achieve success at that time. So your performance management, when done well, it can promote a positive atmosphere, great climate within your organization. It can increase employee engagement, employee morale within the organization, and you can identify issues quickly and then address it. So please think about some of these strategies and go and try it. My last talk with you today is a few case studies. We shall look at 2 case studies. One is a technology firm and how they were able to implement some of this. They were able to use technology and AI to be able to deliver great results within their workers. And the second case is how a manufacturing firm is able to use workforce analytics and also planning and to improve their strategies at that time. Let's look at the first organization. So the organization is actually a fintech firm based in VI. I'm sure if you're familiar with the fintechs, maybe you may know this particular organization. Their initial challenge is that they grew very fast, very, very fast, to an extent that by the time they reached 500 employees, their HR was child's play. They were still using the HR when they were just 50 to 100 employees to run the shows, and there was chaos in their HR department. The HR was inefficient, there was lack of real-time data, and employee morale was really low within that organization. Then they got in a new head of HR who has worked in another environment where they understood the impact of technology. And that particular HR head, working hand in hand with another consulting firm, were able to deploy a bespoke human resource information system that is customized for the peculiarity of that particular fintech. Instantly, there was real-time feedback and performance management improved within that particular organization at that time. Engagement started increasing because employees, based on that platform, they can see what is happening around. Every employee now has a dashboard. You can see your number of leave days left. You can see the ones you've taken at that point. You can see your entitlements. You can see your benefits plan. You can see your pension that has been paid and all those things. The dashboard was just showing everything. So employees felt excited at the transparency and openness that HR brought at that point in time. And how did they implement it? First, they did a need assessment to identify what technology will address our problems. What are our issues? What technology will address it? So don't always just ask in the market, please, who is using a human resource information system? Please recommend so that I can use. Make sure that whatever you're picking fits your own issues at that point in time. Then there's also system integration. Does your technology integrate very well with your current IT platforms? Or do we need to come and deploy a new server because HR is getting a new human resource information system at that point? And it's not enough to deploy your software. You must also train your staff. They train staff. And they didn't just do one-time training, brought everybody to class, and we did a half-day training and gave them a gala and soft drink. They did consistent training. People were free to attend as many times as they needed until they got up to speed in order to deliver and use the platform very well at that point, before they launched and continuously tweaked and improved on the platform down to the very end at that time. Of course, naturally, you will agree with me that efficiency will increase, employee morale will go up in that particular environment, and most probably their managing performance will also improve at that point in time. And hopefully, they will retain more staff than they used to retain in the past. Clearly, this particular case study highlights the need for you to be deliberate. Choose your technology carefully and make sure you carry everybody along. Train people accordingly within the organization so that they can contribute as much as possible in those particular areas. Okay. The second case that we have is on HR analytics and workforce planning. Now, this particular manufacturing concern, again, it is an MNC, what you guys refer to as multinational corporation. They have quite some workforce. They are concerned was insight into their employees. What are the needs of our workforce? What are our turnover rates? What are the skills gap? We were busy running training regularly, but we were not meeting the impact. I remember when one particular executive came in from their home country, and he said that they cannot continue to spend like this, that he needs insights or visibility into the impact some of these budgets are having within the organization. And so when they deployed analytics within that particular organization, they were able to predictively understand their forecasts, their turnover forecasts, and what was going on. And it was easier for them to identify skill gaps. Now they have a skill dashboard. Once they open up that dashboard, if you go to their HRIS information system, the dashboard shows them exactly that they were able to achieve. There's also the implementation process. It took them a while to gather data, to develop the various things that they need in order to achieve the results that they were able to deliver at that time. So this case study on analytics helps them to improve workforce planning, enhance their talent management, and also to reduce turnover within the organization. Most importantly, it helps the executive management to have strategic insight and alignment on what was happening within HR at that time. So question, what is the lesson from these two case studies? From the first case study we looked at in terms of implementing technology for HR, one is that you must face your implementation. Don't jump into the software, buy the software to execute at that time. You need some time, stage by analyzing, identifying your need, researching the software you need, understanding whether it fits your current technological platform in the organization, and things like that before you transition into the use of that platform at that time. Then there's also employee training and support. You must support your employees. Train your employees very well. If not so, they will not be able to use the platform. Then, of course, there's continuous improvement and engagement of those employees. In the second application, workforce analytics, we were able to see that by deploying that platform, they were able to do some measure of analytics. They can predict the future, identify skill gaps that they have, and plan programs, whether it is training, coaching, mentoring, on-the-job assignment, job shadowing, in order for them to improve the things that they were doing at that time. It was a best way for them to achieve success in those particular areas. So this is what these institutions were able to achieve with their deployments of various technology and software. Wrapping up our conversation, what have we covered? We've looked at the role of technology in HR and how this technology is helping HR to achieve significant results in various areas, and how they're able to drive growth, improve their practices, and they were more efficient at that point. We've also seen how analytics helps HR to understand their institution, understand their workforce, understand the issues within the workforce, and then predictively plan solutions that can checkmate any of the problems. Then we looked at how the various work that we do can be used to enhance our staff, their performance, their capabilities in terms of training, in terms of analytics, in terms of skills matching to be able to drive those particular things. Also engagement in those areas. And then finally, we're able to look at two case studies that helps us to see how you can deploy effectively a human resource information system, especially for a relatively large organization. And we also looked at how you can use analytics software and tools to improve the insight you give to executives so that they can take better informed decisions. So this is a summary of what we've covered. And once again, it's always a pleasure to talk with us and share insight with us in this particular session. Thank you very much for your time. I will welcome questions and comments and feedback at this point in time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, the Godfather himself. That was yet another exhilarating session, very prolific, direct, very insightful. I learned quite a lot from every single slide. Thank you for the case studies. They were also very handy and brought to life all the insight concepts you had shared so graciously and generously with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take a few questions, comments, and contributions. If you would like to ask questions or maybe say something quickly, raise your hands and we will enable you to speak and share your thoughts or ask your question. Should you like to reach out to the Godfather directly, personally, his details are showing on the screen right now, his phone numbers and email and other avenues to reach out and contact him directly. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also checking the chat to see if there's any direct question for the HR Godfather himself. I'm just checking right now. Again, don't be shy. Perhaps this is the opportunity to ask a question without you getting an invoice. If I were you, I'll take advantage right now. All right, so I see one or two questions there. One from Adeshola. I'm not sure the gender or how Adeshola identifies, but let's just go ahead. Adeshola says, for an organization that has refused to grow technology, mostly in HR software, how would the HR convince them to further invest? Hello, Godfather.
So this is, yes, thank you very much. This is where you need to do a cost and benefit analysis. You need to identify the current issues that we're having by not going technology. Identify the costs that you're current, because usually executives always approach it first from cost first. That's the first thing they see. Then secondly, you approach it from benefits. What are the benefits we're going to get from deploying this particular technology? Some of the things we've mentioned so far is issues around efficiency, less time, less cost in terms of monetary terms in those areas, in being able to use those particular techniques. Then secondly, it gives us strategic advantage. It gives us insight into what is happening amongst our staff, and we're able to use that to address concerns at that point. So you approach it from those two angles. If you want a business case, there are documents you can use that you can use to write your memo to your executives and tell them that, look, these are the scenarios, okay? And then they'll be able to help you out at that point in time. But please note, sometimes it is not the priority of your organization. So it is not in all cases that you make a business case that management will say, okay, let's run with it, all right? So plan it properly and then take your time. Even if they say no the first time, come back again the next quarter, come back again the second quarter, keep coming back until they say, okay, HR, bring this to, let's get it done.
Thank you so much. Resilience is very, very key. Another question here from Jessica. Jessica says, thank you so much for the great session. Please, how can one measure the return on investment on an emotional training program?
Okay, beautiful. $1 million question. I agree with you. Now, the question is, why were you organizing the training? I mean, ROI, you start first with what was the issue. Don't even run the training before you do your ROI. You must start conversations around ROI before the training runs. Identify the issues. Managers are having problems with employees. Employees are not happy with the way managers are managing them. Employees are taking leave too much. Staffs are resigning. Calculate what is the cost on us for when a staff resigns because of the attitude and behavior of managers. So when you calculate all those costs, then you have an idea of the initial cost of that program before you run it. Because sometimes when we say ROI, people just see the cost of the training. They paid the facilitator or the consultant 1 million naira. And so they shared it across all the staff. That for each staff that was in class, 50,000 naira. So their cost of the training was 50,000. It is more than 50,000. Look at the cost of even the employee not being at work. That day, if it is a one-day training, what is the daily salary of each of those employees? What's the cost of the HR department in running those programs? So identify all the cost elements. Now that is on the one side. Now on the other side is the benefit of the program. What is the return at the end of that particular program? Are managers now more considerate? Are they now more thoughtful? Because of that thoughtfulness, has resignation reduced? What is the impact of reduction in resignation? What the impact of teamwork and the flow at that point in time? You can monetize all these things I've said and then be able to use it to defend your ROI for your emotional intelligence course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Godfather. You also mentioned in passing that you should consider the opportunity cost, not just the direct cost. Thank you so much. Abidemi says, what do you do when performance appraisal is not used for promotion in your organization? I guess they do performance appraisal and there is also promotion, but you can't link the promotion with the performance appraisal.
Well, that is a car without tires and is moving. So, in all honesty, right? Performance appraisal is only one leg of promotion. Performance appraisal is not the only determinant of promotion ready. Remember, your performance appraisal, when done well, speaks to performance. It might not speak to maturity. It might not speak to the fact that the employee is ready to get the job done at that point in time. So it speaks to issues of maturity at that point in time. There are other things to consider in terms of when we are saying whether an employee is ready for promotion or not within the organization, including vacancy. Is there vacancy available within the organization, right? So these are some of the things you consider before you decide that somebody should be considered for promotion. Now, whether it is performance appraisal is used for promotion or not, that is a vote of no confidence by the executive management in the organization on the appraisal process. So work on your appraisal. Make sure your appraisal correctly predicts performance. If it gets the performance of the team very well, tendency is that executives will trust it and want to use it for promotion later at that point in time. So you cannot force them to use a tool that is not functioning well because everybody uses that tool for promotion. Make sure that the tool is working very well. And then you can then demand that it should be paid attention to for promotion. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I have some questions here. Godfather, you are at liberty not to respond or type in the chat box if you prefer. But just to put it out there, the Godfather had mentioned from the onset that he was not going to prescribe specifically any particular tool because that's not the purpose of this session. Because he also guided, for example, you needed to profile internally to know what you needed as the case may be. But I'll just mention some of the questions I see here. For example, somebody is asking if you could recommend maybe tools that can be used for performance management and employee engagement. Says, can you share examples of specific AI tools that can aid with performance management and employee engagement? That's one of the questions here. I'm also trying to, I think I saw another question along similar lines. Maybe I've skipped it now, but let me also check again. Okay, I think, please make sure
while
you're checking the chat box. Yes, please.
So while you're checking, let me respond to the tools for engagement and also for performance and management. So there are what is it called? AI chatbots and AI tools in the markets that you can use. For example, ChatGPT has a version that you can build and integrate inside your softwares and applications. And some of your human resource information systems are already beginning to integrate those AI inside them. What you need to do is tell the AI that, look, every day, once an employee signs into the platform, instantly present a survey to the employee and ask the employee how he feels that day and things like that. By doing that kind of engagement or automation, you gather instant data on the feelings of employee. Then on checking on performance appraisal and the use of AI. Please, I hope you will not shoot me once I say this if you are a manager. You don't need managers again to do appraisal. So there are AI tools like Gemini, Cloudy that you also integrate into your basic Excel and also into your WordPress platforms. What these tools do is that on a periodic basis, they will bring up the KPIs of your staff and present it to the employee and say, employee, could you please respond? How well have you done this particular job? What are constraints you're getting in this particular area? Once you respond to that particular AI on what is going on in your desk, instantly it gives you feedback. An example, maybe the staff is into business development, and we have said within the next 3 months, he must bring in 200 leads. Out of these 200 leads, 15% of the leads must be converted to business as the cases. And then the AI now says, okay, employee, fill in how far you performed in this area. And the employee says, I have brought in 100 leads. And I've also converted only 10 persons out of the 100 leads. The AI knows what are the ways for generating leads. It knows, even you, when you type an AI, please give me an idea how to generate leads. It knows all those. So instantly to tell the employee, well done for achieving 100. But it appears you are struggling with getting your leads. Here are 5 steps you can use to deploy and get leads. 1, connect with people on LinkedIn. 2, do an advert on Facebook. 3, call all the friends you have on WhatsApp. Instantly, the AI is acting as if he's your manager, and he's giving you feedback on some of the things you're supposed to do at that point in time. And guess what? All those things that AI, ChatGPT or Cloud that is integrated on your appraiser does is captured and documented. So at the next season the AI comes, he says, Joel, last time we discussed, we agreed that you're going to connect with some people on LinkedIn. How many people have you connected on LinkedIn? Have you been following people on WhatsApp? You don't need manager again. So as it looks like, it can do those performance management system for you as much as possible. So once you're ready to deploy this tool, do the search on the internet and you'll find some of this. And if you don't find them, I'll be willing to work with you to see if you can deploy this, but you must be ready. What it means that you must be ready is that in your organization, performance management should already be working. You cannot deploy AI in a system that does not accept performance management yet. So get performance management up and running, then input or embed AI into it at that point in time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
On engagement. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shola says, when employees do not complete trainings or KPIs, can one set training completion as a KPI?
Yes, you can, but it is too compliance driven. This is why they don't like HR. We're always forcing people to do things. The question shouldn't be training completion, but we should focus on why were they struggling with completing the training. There may be issues beyond their control. It could also be an issue that the person was not interested in that training. Never send the staff to a training he's not interested in. It's a waste of organization's money. It could also be that the training was not properly identified for that individual. You sent a senior person to a small person's training, or you sent a small person to a big person's training. At that point in time, it is mismatched at that point in time. So they run out of energy. Or the person started attending the training and noticed that what they are teaching them is not relevant in the organization, or is not something the organization can use at that point. Instead of setting training completion KPI, it is better to set relevance of training to find out that feedback will help you to adjust and then deal with it. All right? And that will help you better.
Fantastic. Fantastic response to a fantastic question. Samuel says, sir, are other employees supposed to be trained fully on the use of the HRIS or just the HR personnel?
Good question. Thank you very much. Now, it depends on what you buy and deploy. Sometimes HR buys only a software that HR will use without self-service. If you bought a HRIS that is focused on transaction processing and administration in HR, then there will be no need for employees to interface with it. But if the model you buy includes the model that is called self-service, in that case, you need to teach all staff how to use that particular platform. Just like when Zoom started, right? You know, every employee was joining Zoom. So there was need for us to train as many employees as possible on the use of Zoom. And this is why some organizations that didn't train their staff on the use of Zoom still have staff who join Zoom with serious issues and concerns. They cannot collaborate on Zoom. They cannot ask questions. They cannot engage. They cannot draw and use Zoom as accordingly because that initial training was not done. So it's not about the Zoom host and the co-host and the speaker that should be trained on Zoom. You also train the participant that will join that program on how to use the platform also. So that's how to respond to it. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Tolu here says, please, sir, can you mention the name of the AI for conducting interview like Zoom? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to show you that particular AI, the website, so you can visit it at your own convenience. So while we're discussing, I'll try to find that AI, all right?
Fantastic.
Let's go on. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm also trying to, someone here says that, sir, can you mention some HR metrics for compensation and benefits?
Okay, I thought we shared some of those. For compensation, one of the things we measure on compensation is what we call CR, compare ratio. Compare ratio is measuring to what extent is our compensation in alignment with the compensation of the market, of the industry. For example, if we have employees who are customer service officers and there are employees who are customer service officers in the industry, how much are they earning? How much are we earning? So you'll be able to measure whether our salary is in alignment, it is at industry average, or we are lagging behind, or we are leading the market at that point in time. The second thing you can focus on your compensation is who is getting the most compensation in the organization. Our high-performing team being compensated, or is the compensation across the entire organization flat? Then there are other measures of compensation that you can measure at that point in time, like our return on investment of human capital, like our human capital value add within the organization and how those are driving organizational process and success at that time. So those are some of the things you can track and measure. There's a detailed KPI and metrics around compensation. I'm sure you'll be able to, when you research it, you can find it, all right? And then be able to use it. Thank you.
Okay, so this person sent this question to me directly instead of to the group, and it says, Godfather, please, how are we sure that we will all have jobs last? That it looks like this AI will take over everybody's job, not just the line managers.
So AI is not taking our jobs. So AI is not going to take our jobs, right? However, people who learn AI and are able to use AI, like those who are good at prompt engineering, will take over the jobs of people who do not understand AI. So it is given, right? AI is not self-knowing. It needs somebody to program it and to tell it what to do. So our job, our current job is that we should learn AI and learn how to ask AI to be able to do some of those particular things at that point in time. If we do that, then we know that we're able to use AI successfully. Thanks. So it will not take our job.
Thank you so much. I think we have exhausted all the questions. Just to mention, Godfather, on the chat, we have so many accolades and encomiums, many people expressing their appreciation, their gratitude to you for the excellent, brilliant session and delivery tonight. On behalf of all of us as a collective,
before you go, someone
yes,
has asked a question on the software, the AI for recruitment.
Yes, please.
So I've just shared it on the chat box. You can see the link there. Just visit that blog. And right now I'm sharing a screen. So you can see that's the AI. This AI you're seeing on your screen is actually an interviewer. So he's running interviews. He's asking questions. How does you react? Your reaction differ on various things. So it will ask you various questions and it's timing you in that particular interview. And that is a candidate. You can see the candidate there. The candidate is responding to the AI and is recording what you're saying and is doing his analysis at that point in time. So it vets candidates and runs interviews for them in those particular areas. Okay? And is able to deploy whatever it is that you want. Just visit their website. The link is here at the bottom. Visit their website. And if it's something you can buy and your organization is willing to try and implement, you can test it out and see how that works for you at that time. Thanks again. So over to you, Yemi. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you so much. Finally, we'd like to thank about 80 people who joined this session live tonight. We appreciate you and thank you for your time. We celebrate and commend your task for knowledge and continuous self-development. Just to mention again, if you need the services of the Godfather, please reach out to him, okay? Perhaps if you tell him you listen to him on HR mentorship webinar, who knows, you can get a tiny discount, who just knows? No guarantees anyway, but you know who to talk to. He has been very generous and gracious. He was with us last Saturday, is with us today, and just to also let you know, be with us next week, Saturday. We recommend him without any reservation. His quality is top-notch. He has the experience, he has the results, he has the testimonials, he has the referral. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a beautiful time well spent. Sir, I'm grateful. Good night, sir, and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yes, sir.
Good night.